Hey everyone, my name's Brendan, I hope your day's been going good, and my whole life has led up to this moment. My standardized tests, he was there. My high school prom, he was there. My school field trips, he was there. My birthday parties, he was there. My communion, he was there. My excommunication, he was there. My family gatherings, he was there. My conception, he was the father. Everything has been leading up to this moment, which is why I'm so happy to finally say that Kirby's in 3D! It took him 30 goddamn years, but Kirby finally discovered that he can walk around the enemies instead of just... Alright, so that's not entirely true. He still tends to... Kirby, what did I tell you about playing with your food? Kirby's just kind of been stuck for the past 30 years in the sense that he just refuses to leave the comforts of the second dimension. Kirby's first outing in 3D? Crystal Shards, a 2.5D game. It had 3D graphics, like I can see the bulge coming from Kirby's round, but he's still just walking through a fixed 2D stage. This was, I think, one of the major complaints people had for the game at the time. You had games like Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, Mario Kart 64, Star Fox 64, even Mega Man Legends and Castlevania Legacy of Darkness bring their respective franchises into the third dimension. Yeah, there was definitely some varying quality with each attempt. Oh my god, you are disgusting. But they were still attempts. Kirby? You can kill a tree? Don't get me wrong, it's a fun game. I can turn Kirby into a food dispenser. That's not something any other Kirby game can say about itself. Wait your turn. But regardless of how good the game was in itself, it would still ultimately disappoint a lot of people from it choosing not to go all in with the 3D aspect. Fans would just have to wait until the next console generation and see if that's where they would finally get their 3D Kirby fix. And the next console generation? And the next. I think you're noticing a pattern here. Up until this year, there has never been a fully 3D Kirby game, which is why Kirby and the Forgotten Land is such a massive deal. Now, there have of course been attempts at bringing Kirby into 3D before this, but as you can probably tell, those never ended up happening. Referred to by fans as Kirby GC, a scrap Kirby game for the GameCube, wouldn't you know it, was planned to come out for the system. I already talked a little bit about this during my last Kirby aneurysm, so I'll try and keep it brief this time around. We'd get a trailer for it at E3 2005, some images and screenshots from articles, and even some recently uncovered footage of the game. But we wouldn't get to see the game actually release, and it would go on to become the basis for future Kirby games, primarily Return to Dreamland and Star Allies. Aside from this game, there were two others planned for the system at some point as well, a standard 2D one in a pop-up book art style, and then the one that we're interested in, a fully 3D Kirby game. We only had this one single screenshot to go off of for the longest time, but just recently had a few seconds of footage uncovered from the game. It might not be a whole lot, but even then it can tell us a lot about what the game would have been like, as it very closely resembles the 3DS eShop game, Kirby's Blowout Blast. Originally starting out as a sidebone Kirby Planet Robobot, Blowout Blast would be Kirby's first real step into 3D, even if it wasn't a mainline game. Can you just give me like 10 seconds real quick to jack off Kirby Air Ride's ego? Yeah? Okay, cool. It's very cool and fun and a great unique take on a racer, and City Trial is kick-ass because you get to ride around and run around this 3D area collecting power-ups and battling other people. I really want a sequel, Hal, please, I'm begging you. I'll never ask for anything of you ever again. I don't have a problem, okay? You do. So, yeah, outside of a few select spin-offs, the Pink Puff's never really been in 3D before, which is why this game's so damn cool to finally see come out. The last main game in the series that we got was Kirby Star Allies, which, while not a bad game, didn't really do too much to solidify itself as one of the series' best games. It had a very bare-bones launch and wasn't really worth the $60 in my opinion. It was cool how it set itself up as the Infinity War of the Kirby series, like oh my god, the lore drops in this game were crazy, I'll never be able to go into Butterfly House ever again without going insane, but it wasn't until the game's free updates came out that I really started to appreciate it more. I've actually come to love it as one of my favorites in the series now, as much as that take will probably put me on a watch list somewhere. I'm not a fan of the whole release now, finish later approach that a lot of Nintendo games have been taking these past few years, but Star Allies, now in its finished state, is still a fun game in my opinion. Regardless, after Star Allies, it was clear that the next entry in the series was really going to need to wow people. So how did Hal accomplish that? Holy Oh, let's f***ing go! Oh, please. Yes! 3D Kirby game! Oh, it's beautiful! Oh my god! Treat my boy right on his 30th anniversary! Oh my god! Treat my boy right! Treat my boy right! Oh my god, look at the boy! 30 years, baby! Oh, this is what we've been waiting for. That's what it's all about. This was the peak of my young virgin life. So, just your life in general. In May of last year, it was revealed by Kirby Star Allies director, Shinya Mizaki, that they would be moving on to the next phase of Kirby, saying that he and the team are always trying new things and discussing where they should take the series next. I wonder what that could mean! The game's lead action programmer, Katsuyoshi Sumitomo, even said at the time that he hoped the next thing they create to be called the pinnacle of Kirby games. I wonder what that could mean! Now, if these statements from the series developers weren't enough, then you also have to keep in mind that 2022 would end up being the 30th anniversary for the Kirby series as well. I wonder what that could mean! Shut up! These interviews and statements were hinting at something huge. I could feel it. This next phase was gonna be big. It was gonna be game-changing. It was gonna be 3D Kirby game! Kirby waking up like Drew. Oh, that was the greatest aneurysm I've ever had. In late 2021, it was announced that there would be a Nintendo Direct on the 23rd of September, and I don't think I could have ever been prepared for this announcement. Splatoon 3 news, Bayonetta 3 gameplay, the goddamn Mario movie cast.
I also wanted to reveal our key cast members, who will be voicing Mario and his friends in the movie.
It's Christopher! Yeah, that's great and all, but bitch, did you see Corbin? Not only was Kirby finally in full 3D for the first time, but he was also roaming around this post-apocalyptic Earth setting? And then in February, we would get another trailer where Kirby weirdly contorts and stretches his body to form around different inanimate objects like cars, traffic cones, and vending machines for something called mouthful mode. Seeing Kirby do this to a car has me terrified of what else he's capable of gorging himself with. Who's to say he can't just level this whole city by a mouthful moding it. We'd get some trailers showing off some of the new copy abilities and little bits of info about the game pre-release, but for the most part, all we had left to do was just wait for that fateful day in spring, March 25th, to finally be able to play it. Buckle up, my sweets, 'tis gamer time! Tickety-tock, get the f*** in my dock! Our adventure this time opens on Kirby taking a stroll, riding on his warp star, and being sucked into a black hole because God is upset with his constant gluttonous behavior. Once the portal appears in the sky, everything is soon sucked into it. Blocks, trees, my boy! The Waddle Dees who were previously just going about their day, and even... I gotta get the hell out of here! Eventually, Kirby and the Warp Star are sucked in as well, Kirby's body begins contorting, and after becoming unconscious, wakes up on the beach in a mysterious new land. Detroit. I start off by doing what any sensible person would do, and run around the opening beach area here for like 4 minutes because, oh my god, Kirby's in 3D, you guys! So, we traverse the streets of Michigan, find an advanced auto parts store, encounter a car, and it's here that we get to experience for the first time the newly introduced mouthful mode. I want to find the person at HAL that thought of this idea, but I'm not sure if I either want to give them a high five or refer them to a psychiatrist. We drive around for a little bit until Kirby finds a radio, which starts playing music, and he begins dancing along to it. This is adorable. Also, can I just say, this song, holy shit. This song is called Welcome to the New World and uses a fake made-up language for the lyrics, which you'll see pop up throughout the rest of the game as well. I don't know why, but hearing a lyrical song like this while watching Kirby drive off into this strange new world just fills me with a sense of wonder and excitement that I haven't felt much in games since I was younger, playing games like Super Mario Galaxy for the first time. It's oddly nostalgic in a way. I'll get to talking about more of the music later, oh don't you worry, but if this opening sequence here is anything to go by, then we're in for one heck of a ride with this game. Oh no, animal cruelty! We must stop it by committing even more animal cruelty! Consume, gorge, save the chinchilla. Phew, you saved me. Thank you. Why do I get the feeling that you're gonna turn into some sort of eldritch horror? Oh well, I'm sure it's nothing. This flying blue rat's name is Elflin, and he tells us that all of the Waddle Dees that have been sucked through the portal were now being captured by a group called the Beast Pack, with Elflin now being the only one who hasn't been captured. Is what I would say if Bandana Dee didn't get away safely! Bandana Dee not only is the second player's character if you decide to play the game co-op, but they also just treat him like Kirby's right-hand man, and I love it so much. My boy finally getting the representation he deserves. I'm glad to see it. Our main mission throughout the game is to explore this post-apocalyptic Earth-like setting, save the Waddle Dees as we go, figure out what the Beast Pack wants with them, and learn what created that portal in the sky that brought us here in the first place. I knew I should have taken Shiver Star from Kirby 64 as a sign of bad things to come. So, first 3D Kirby game. You might be thinking that Kirby might feel a little odd to control since he's been confined to a 2D perspective for so long, and that's a fair thing to assume considering how we've all heard at least once from some guy's Sonic the Hedgehog retrospective that the transition from 2D to 3D in games can be a bit rough. But in Kirby's case, dude, this feels amazing! I honestly don't really have any complaints at all. They nailed it here. Kirby feels exactly like you'd imagine he should. It's literally just controlling the 2D Kirby we've come to know, but now in a 3D plane. As well as it turned out though, I'm sure you can imagine getting Kirby to translate into 3D this well wasn't an easy task. The developers at HAL themselves stated that the previous attempts at bringing Kirby into 3D aside, there were a lot of challenges they had to face in order to get things to work well here. The Kirby team took into account a whole wealth of different things when designing the game. The camera is designed in a way so that it always points the player in the direction of interest, or where they should be heading to next. Then, when it comes to the camera in combat, HAL actually did something really interesting but smart here. When you attack as Kirby in this game, you don't necessarily need to hit your enemy in order for them to take damage. Based on the camera angle you're at currently, attacks will always land as long as they look like they should hit, so as to make the game's combat feel a bit more satisfying. Another great new addition on the combat side of Kirby's moveset is the new dodge roll that he has. By pressing and holding in one of the triggers and flicking the stick in a certain direction, Kirby will perform a combat roll. The move is super useful when it comes to avoiding enemy attacks, being able to quickly step out of their way. Plus, if you time your dodge just right when an enemy's charging at you, you essentially go into Bayonetta witch time, getting a few seconds slow down to either get away from your enemy or land a few hits. Then, on the jump and float side of Kirby's moveset, a feature that the dev team referred to as Fuzzy Landing was added in order to make jumps flow smoother in relation to Kirby's float ability. What Fuzzy Landing is when Kirby comes near to the ground and you go to jump again, instead of going into a float because you just didn't hit the ground in time, Kirby will automatically snap to the ground and jump back up. Just like with attacking enemies, the feature was implemented so that the movement wasn't unnecessarily harder just because of the perspective you were seeing things at. Sometimes it might be hard to gauge how high another platform is in relation to you, so in instances like that, the dev team would put in little details to help with the problem. For example, these little strips of fluorescent tape on the ground here. HAL knew full well the challenges of bringing a 2D series into 3D, and I don't think they could have done a better job at avoiding the typical problems with this kind of transition. Kirby's movement feels fantastic here, and all of the levels are designed super well around it. There are plenty of enemies to fight, collectibles to find, missions to complete, and the secrets. Oh my god, the secrets! HAL loves to hide these hidden rooms throughout the Kirby games, and Forgotten Land is no exception. In fact, it probably has some of the most creative and well-hidden secret areas in the series, since the team got to take into account a 3D plane with them as well. I personally take a lot of inspiration from HAL in this regard. I mean, why do you think I nicknamed my attic the HAL Room?
Hello!
Secrets aside, there's just so much to appreciate in these levels. There's always something fun or interesting going on, and it really helps that the game is just aesthetically gorgeous. It really feels like the team took full advantage of the post-apocalyptic location of the game. The first world is a city overgrown by vegetation, with signs of long-gone civilization. The second world is a beach area with flooded structures and buildings, with the main one here being an electrical power plant. Third world is one big amusement park filled with roller coasters, haunted houses, racetracks, the works. The fourth world...
What did they do to the British?
Is a frozen over city with both the streets and rooftops being explorable, and some flooded areas like with the subway tunnel level. World 5 is a desert area, which probably has some of my favorite shots from the whole game, one of them being the opening to the Alive Mall staff side stage. Lastly, there's the sixth and final world, the treacherous volcanic area, mixing in the abandoned ruins of old factories and buildings, with some great lighting over it all to top it off. This game just has some fantastic visuals for something running on a Switch, and it runs really well despite that. The one noticeable thing is that if you look at the characters moving around in the background, you can see that the frame rate of their animation is really choppy. It's obviously done because the player wouldn't typically be putting their full attention back there anyways, so the focus instead is put on making things that the player would actually see run better. It's noticeable, yeah, but I never really cared considering just how great the rest of the game looks. The graphics aren't groundbreaking or anything like that, but it just looks really pretty. Moving forward though, hidden throughout the levels in each of these worlds will be a few different types of collectibles to get. The first is just the standard currency you see throughout each game, Return to Dreamland stars, Sir Alice's heart coins, and this time around for Forgotten Land, we have star coins. Normally, collecting these would just be useful for getting extra lives, because God knows we need more of those in a Kirby game, but there actually isn't a life system in the game this time around. Instead of losing lives when you die, you'll instead just lose some of the money you have, a la Mario Odyssey. You'll be able to use the currency for quite a few different things during your time playing, but I'll get into the specifics of what exactly those things are in a little bit. Now, usually in each Kirby game, there's a main collectible that you work on finding a few of throughout each stage, whether it be energy spheres, sunstones, code cubes, the souls of the damned, what have you. This time around, our main collectible, if you want to call it that, throughout our journey are the Waddle Dees that have been captured by the Beast Pack. Going into a level, you'll have a few set challenges or tasks that you need to complete in order to save the Waddle Dees. The main one that's a constant throughout each level is just saving 3 Waddle Dees by beating the stage. The others though could be rescued through a whole bunch of different ways. Beating a boss within a certain amount of time or without taking damage, growing a bunch of flowers, finding a secret area, not getting lost in a mall, destroying these little sand statues, buying milk. Nope, that last one was just from my shopping list. What the f is my Waddle Dee? Rescuing the Waddle Dees in this game was always super fun and rewarding just because the task you had to do to complete it was fun in the first place. Much like main collectibles in the past, you need a certain amount of Waddle Dees per world in order to unlock the boss stage. One can't simply enact the deforestation without enough bodies to do it.
Wait. How much for the hide?
We've got all sorts of bosses to fight here. Donkey Kong, Bear's best friend, the reason I had to get off of social media for a day and bleach my eyes, Only as a Man Without Love, as well as the staple King Dedede fight that's become a tradition with every Kirby game. Putting our focus back on the little guys though, once you start saving Waddle Dees, they'll be taken back to the rundown town that we met Elflin in at the beginning of the game, where you'll see that they've cleared away the rubble and started construction on some different buildings. This area acts as our main hub for the game, a little place to come back to and hang out in after playing through the main levels for a little while.
What's popping, gamers? And hey, it's me, Drewdan, and welcome to Waddle Dee Town, where it's your the perfect place for Waddle Dee, beasts, and red-shaped objects alike. Come to the theater. Well, you'll be able to watch back footage of your friends being kidnapped by crows. $20
per viewing upon entry.
Swing by them.
Locking myself in.
Hi, I'm an epic gamer kid.
Kirby Cafe to get a Kerr Burger. Wash down the
undisclosed meat patty between bun and bread.
With a drink.
Or maybe try something else while you're here.
We're not asking.
Purchase performance enhancing.
Empire. There's no way to sugarcoat that one, sweetie.
Play a game. First game
To sell a Kerbillion copies.
Play a game of tilt and tumble, and watch yourself slowly go mad while playing the bonus challenge on the third stage on the hardest difficulty.
Burn and then eat my Kirby
Like
plushie
this show.
whole as I watch its innards
What
become outwards.
After having your tilt-inducing go down to the
Fishing for love.
pond to cool down for a while and try your hand at catching the famous a fish smothered in molten gold. It is in immense amounts of pain.
Free it from its despair.
The Gacha fun capsules. They're a staple of Waddle Dee Town. They're a blast! In fact, they're so much fun that the residents can't seem to help themselves but blow every real authentic United States penny they have on them. Wow!
Incredible.
The locals like to call us enablers, but between you and me, my official position here is fun inducer, so there can't possibly be any ulterior motives behind the machines.
We're working on getting them uninstalled.
The weapon shop!
So we can prepare ourselves for war.
Put 'em up, motherfucker! And lastly, the arena! Ever since arriving in this new world, Chris, where the f*** are we? The Waddle Dees have developed an insatiable lust for blood, and the only way of satiating it is by making their beast pack enemies
Fight to the death.
against one another. What the fuck? So, what are you waiting for? Stop by Waddle Dee Town for your next adventure today, and if you don't, then you'll end up like me.
This is really not looking good.
Yeah, so Waddle Dee Town's a pretty cool place. The town itself aside for a moment, can I just say how happy I am that Hal is finally treating the Waddle Dees like the friends they are? Like, these dudes are just chilling and hanging out most of the time, but nope, apparently this thing is a threat. Until now! This is a dub for the Waddle Dee fanbase. It's just so great getting to hang out here, man. I've always loved little hub worlds like this in games. I loved getting to run around and explore the Comet Observatory and Starship Mario and the Galaxy games as a kid, and I love getting to run around waving to all the Waddle Dees in Waddle Dee Town now. It's like I said earlier, this game just brings me such an odd sense of nostalgia when I play it that, given a few years, I'm sure I'll be looking back on it with the same kind of fondness that I did with a lot of my other favorite games growing up. Getting back on track though, yeah, there's a fair bit to do here. In previous Kirby games, there would always be a few side modes and minigames to play if you wanted to take a break from the main game, and that's what Waddle Dee Town serves as here. You can work part-time shifts at the cafe to earn star coins, or just buy healing items from there to use if you need them. You can purchase temporary speed, health, and damage upgrades at the shop up here.
Welcome to EV Games.
You can watch back cutscenes in the theater, or listen to music tracks from the most adorable little band of Waddle Dees that I've ever seen. You can play the fishing minigame, which is objectively the best activity here. That is a fact, don't at me.
He started falling asleep. That's adorable. Get the big fish! Get the fish! Oh, this is gonna be a big one, guys. We can't mess this up. Go! Go! The big fish! Big fish! I'm Fishy Willis. I've been fishing my whole life, and I hope that one day I can fish up myself a loving girlfriend, because I have been single my whole life and I cannot tell why. This is a real game. Get back to it.
There are also the gacha machines here as well. You can find each of these gacha capsules throughout each of the stages, with each one adding you a figurine from something in the game, whether it be a character, enemy, or object in the world. There are even some more special ones you can earn by doing stuff around town. These figurines also replace the pause screen lore that you'd usually get in previous games, since a fair amount of the figures include a detailed description of what the figurine is. Kirby has some pretty surprisingly deep and complicated lore, so it's always fun looking through these descriptions to learn more about it. They also come from a gacha machine, and I just kind of think that's funny.
What? What, you got something to say? You're just gonna keep staring. I don't have a problem. You do, okay? I can quit this thing whenever I want to. This doesn't define me. Sweet, I just got a 5-star. Let's go.
These figurines, though, can be displayed in Kirby's house, since the Waddle Dees were kind enough to build him a new home to sleep in, while the rest of the townsfolk are forced to sleep out in the cold, dark, or rainy nights. There's also the Tilt and Roll minigame here, which is essentially a sequel to the Game Boy Color game Kirby Tilt and Tumble. Rage.
Going to kill Gordo.
The most noticeable structure in the town, though, is the arena, which is a mode returning from previous Kirby games. The arena acts as a boss rush mode to go through, with a few different cups to participate in. I am not the same man I was before playing through Ultimate Cup Z. I still have the scars. It's practically tradition for Kirby to have a very easy and enjoyable main mode, but then at least one side mode that makes you want to reach for your nearest hammer and smash like an NES or something.
And I'll do it again, goddammit!
The game surprisingly has an optional harder difficulty to play in here, though, as well. Still not very hard, but I appreciate it being here. A couple other smaller things in town I thought I'd mention, though, were the post office, which allows you to input special codes to receive items, and the wise Waddle Dee, who tells you random statistics and info about what people accomplish playing through the game. The more Waddle Dees you save, the more of these structures will pop up throughout Waddle Dee Town. One of the other reasons it was so fun trying to complete challenges and save Waddle Dees was just how satisfying it was seeing the town get built up bit by bit throughout the game. The stuff around town is genuinely really helpful and fun, so there's a great incentive here to go and try and save as many as you can. We do have one last building in Waddle Dee Town I haven't mentioned yet though, and that's the weapon shop. It's here where we're able to see all the copy abilities we've unlocked on display, as well as where we can upgrade them. There are a lot fewer copy abilities in this game compared to previous titles, and that's because the ones here had to be revamped or altered since they now had to work in a 3D space. My favorite example of this by far comes from the changes made to the needle ability, since I'm pretty sure someone at the Hell office was playing a bit too much Katamari Damacy one day before work. There are also the 2 new copy ability inclusions here as well though. Drill, which allows you to dig underground to collect certain buried items or pop back out and attack. Then we have the other newly added ability. Let's not lie to ourselves here. We all knew this day would come. Kirby uses a gun. Need I say more?
Oh my god, he's using the he used the Bayonetta copy ability. It's just like a real Super Smash Brothers.
To make up for a smaller amount of copy abilities here though, there's now an upgrade system. Cough up some star coins and a few of a new item called a rare stone, and you'll be able to make your copy abilities even better than before. Man, I really hope they bring this feature back in future Kirby games, because I love getting to upgrade these copy abilities and play around with their stronger variants. The upgrades do some really interesting and cool stuff for new moves, and the designs of them are also super fun as well. For Christ's sake, even Sleep and Crash get upgrades.
Time for a nap.
In order to upgrade these abilities though, you'll need to find hidden blueprints throughout the different stages, which you then take to the weapon shop Waddle Dee, and bam, Quicksilver.
If I could stop time in a bottle,
just like saving the Waddle Dees and having them build up the town, finding these blueprints to unlock upgrades is super rewarding. There are also quite a few references packed in with these abilities as well. There are the obvious ones like with the hammer and sword, but then you also have stuff like the Clutter Needle, which is a really cool callback to Kirby 64. That's not even the first callback to Kirby 64 in the game though, as King Dedede's design changes once again as per tradition with every new Kirby game, going back to the style we see him in Crystal Shards. Also, if you steal Meta Knight's sword in the arena, he uses his sword from Kirby's Adventure. That's not related to the copy abilities in any way. I just thought it was kind of cool. Another nice thing to know is how some of the copy abilities even got a new enemy to go along with them for the first time. We get a standard enemy called Mookie for the hammer ability instead of it just being relegated to Bonkers, as well as a boss named Florina to go along with the tornado ability. It's really nice to see these copy abilities that have been in the series since the start still get new things like this added in. Kirby's Return to Dreamland introduced quite a few new copy abilities to the series. We have Tornado. Welcome to Kansas, motherfucker.
What? Come on, I'm human, sue me. But what about these rare stones I mentioned? They're shiny, they're rare, they're stone-shaped? Okay, maybe not that last part.
Where exactly do we find these rare stones? Well, while exploring the map, you'll see these Return to Dreamland looking portals appear in certain areas, which take you to challenge stages called Treasure Roads. In these little mini stages, you'll be given a certain amount of time to complete a challenge surrounding a specific copy ability. These aren't the most difficult to complete, but there is an optional time limit where completing it in that time will net you more star coins. I didn't do it for the coins though, I just did it for the bragging rights. I know, I'm pretty cool for doing this. I'll be signing autographs at Target later today. My only complaint with these optional time limits though is that I just don't think they were playtested super well. Like, some of the time you can complete these things and still have enough time to go out and buy a 4th copy, and other times you'll be left with a literal millisecond left. This isn't really all that big of a deal considering it's an optional challenge, but I thought it was just worth bringing up anyways. Like I said, these challenges apply to the copy abilities, but they also apply to the mouthful mode abilities as well. Oh my god, how could I forget about his gorging form? Mouthful mode! It's like a stretchy pink flesh suit. When Hal started work on developing the game, they were trying to think of an ability that would feel unique and interesting, and even something that could only work to its fullest potential in 3D. This ended up leading them to the idea of having Kirby inhale objects that he couldn't normally inhale, and that he would take the shape of instead of gaining an ability from it, which led to the creation of mouthful mode. Kirby inhales objects ranging from pipes, to cones, cars, vending machines, arches, stairs. This game is terrifying. I never would have imagined this would be the next gimmick ability for a Kirby game, but here we are, and as odd as it is, I actually really like it. Kirby being able to inhale these objects to take their shape leads to some really creative puzzles and dedicated sections of levels. From something as simple as bashing your head into a pipe as a cone so you can travel up a spout of water, to inhaling a ring so you can blow out gusts of air and control the movement of a boat.
First, we inhale Detroit, then all of Michigan!
They do some really fun, unique stuff with this ability. Getting to do things like complete a race as a Kirby car, glide through a canyon after inhaling an arch to be used as a glider, or avoid drawing the attention of enemies while activating light sensors as a light bulb. It's all super creative stuff. The idea of Kirby inhaling these real-world objects is actually what ended up inspiring the setting for the game. Why would Kirby be inhaling stuff like pipes and cars? Well, The Last of Us, duh. They get a lot out of these abilities in the sections surrounding them, but they never overstay their welcome. They're pretty refreshing combined with the normal gameplay, if anything. Okay, I've refrained for long enough. We're gonna be talking about the music now! Woo! The Roar of DDD gets the honor of being named Banger of the Year because holy sh**. Kirby games usually have some fantastic music, and this game is no exception. The title theme, man, what a great song to open the game to. This is definitely going up there as one of the best main themes in the series for me. The abandoned beach theme reminds me of some Return to Dreamland type shit, and I love it. It's just so cozy and happy, and I love it. Through the tunnel invokes such a strong sense of adventure and excitement for the journey to come. Bro, have you heard Meta Knight's fight theme in this game? A combination of jazz and metal rock with a kick-ass sax solo too? Yes, f***ing please! From Those Who Parted Space is such a beautiful song and it makes me want to cry, and then the implications of the title and this being the credits makes it even more bittersweet. The Invincibility Candy theme goes f***ing hard. End of sentence. Two Planets Approach the Roche Limit is a cinematic masterpiece. The Waddle Dee Town theme is just delightful. Invasion at the House of Horrors is funky as shit. And the Crystal Shard sound font that shows up at like 30 seconds in is a really nice touch. And lastly, Northeast Frost Street deserves a f***ing award. It's so emotional and beautiful and makes me want to cry in the best way possible. Okay, I think I got that out of my system. Let's finish talking about the story, shall we? Traveling through this forgotten land, we'll be saving the Waddle Dees and fighting off members of the Beast Pack like I mentioned earlier. Eventually, we end up reaching a point though where, as per usual, King DDD ain't feeling too right in the head, so we have to beat the ever-loving shit out of him till he feels better. But oh no, he captures the hamster! Oh no! So then King DDD escapes by using crows to fly overseas into this desert area like he's some sort of villain from a Lego game. Traverse the desert, kill the obsessive king of lonely hearts, progress. We've now reached the base of operations for the Beast Pack here in this volcanic area. Seems like a great work environment. Travel through a few stages until we reach the gathering of the Beast Council. Yeah man, the meeting went really well. They gave me this super cool coin after we were done and then they ripped one of my arms off. This level was a boss rush of all of the different Beast Council members we've already faced with some mouthful mode sections sprinkled in there as well. Eliminate the council and move forward. Up next we have the final standard stage of the game, the Beast Pack's final stand. A true test of our skills, utilizing everything we've learned thus far. Platforming skill, mouthful mode ability utilization, they were all dead within minutes, moving on to the last stage. In this final stage, we get to have ourselves a rematch against the king himself. One last climactic battle. Is that the possession mask on your face, or are you just happy to see me? I will take that as a maybe. We get ourselves a super fun fight against King Dedede with him charging, jumping, and swinging his fiery hammers all over the place. Regardless, we kick his ass, save the Waddle Dees, and get to see him go back to his old self again. An elevator then opens up to take us out of this place, but all of a sudden a bunch of Beast Pack members begin running in to stop us, so the gang must make a break for the door. But then that's when it happens. No! Yes! What the fuck? King Dedede sacrifices himself to hold off the rest of the Beast Pack, while Kirby and the other Waddle Dees take the elevator to safety.
Welcome visitors to the Dream Discoveries Tour of our science facility, Lab Discovera.
When the humans start talking in a Kirby game, that's when you know shit's about to go down. So, we've apparently entered a place called Lab Discovera, a research facility housing the so-called ultimate life form, the bio-lizard, IDF-86. When this life form arrived on the planet, it caused a mass amounts of destruction, but was captured by the people inhabiting the planet before anything too severe happened. Once in captivity, it was studied for its spatial teleportation abilities, which explains all of the return to Dreamland-esque portals up and around the game's map. This research would lead to the people of the planet having access to planetary warp technology, which, taking a look at it, fits into the larger Kirby lore. But that is a ginormous can of worms, and we don't have time for that today, okay? After 30 years of this research, however, an incident occurred causing IDF-86 to split into two life forms, one of which escaped. And here we are, I guess. It's time we meet them ourselves. Going inside, we meet the king of the Beast Pack, Leongar. Here it's explained to us that Elflin, while not being an evil eldritch demon themselves, used to be a part of one, IDF-86. Leongar here has been on a mission to capture Elflin and return IDF-86 to its former glory, but not of his own free will! IDF-86 created that portal from the beginning of the game so that it could use the denizens of Dreamland, the little Waddle Dees, to power the facility once again, manipulating Leongar and the Beast Pack to do so. So, they get pissed when we ruin their plans, consume a bunch of the Beast Pack members, and transform into E10 Plus over here. This is horrifying. What the hell? It snatches up Elflin, and we escape to the top of the research facility, where we'll now have our final fight against its true form, Facto Elfilis. We get a super cinematic fight against them, with Elfilis flying around us, charging at us with spears, pulling goddamn meteors of debris out of the sky to crush us, but they don't call Kirby the God Killer for nothing, because it's time to gorge! We successfully free Elflin from Elfilis' control, but oh no, big man's pissed! Elfilis begins pulling and Pop start to collide with the planet, and just when all hope seems lost, motherfucking Truck Month, baby.
I ain't saying no showy crap like see you later buddy or something like that. Always see you soon, you photos. Move, motherfucker, I got a delivery to make. Crap, got the ground at the bus now. I didn't even get to finish tilling my farm. King Cletus is fine and ready to go. I borrowed one of my buddy's service pistols as a good luck charm, and believe me, I'm gonna put it to good use. This is Kirby's soul. This is Elflin's soul. This is Waddle Dee Town soul. And actually, it's my soul. Did you seriously think it was gonna be wiped out by the likes of you? King Cletus Mega Mouthful! So this is the power mouthful mode. Not bad at all.
Even after Cletus' sacrifice, it still isn't enough to stop the portal in the sky though, and Elflin gives us a bit of a scare and a good cry, but ends up being okay. Now, I'd say that things end here, but after beating the game, one last portal opens up, leading us to the post-game. Leongar still isn't in the best of shape after that. This area basically just contains a bunch of levels from the main game, which are slightly remixed, and you'll have to find all of the hidden pieces of Leongar's soul throughout each of them. Collecting enough of these pieces unlocks the Forgo Land, where we'll fight a much harder version of a possessed Leon, and after taking him down, the soul of IDF-86.
The butterfly that has appeared at the beginning cutscene of every modern-day Kirby game, including this one, flies in and takes the power of Elphilis for itself, transforming into the warrior known as Morpho Knight. This also happened in Kirby Star Allies with Galactonite, so it seems like Morpho Knight will just be replacing Galactonite as the series' secret final boss from now on. That aside, it's really cool getting to see all of Morpho Knight's attacks from Star Allies and how they were translated into 3D, now including new moves that relate to IDF-86. With each game Morpho Knight's going to grow stronger as a boss, so I'm interested to see what else will get added to his moveset in the future. It's a super fun fight, and as terrified as I am of butterflies now, I'm excited to face off against them in future Kirby titles.
Is it gone yet? It is? Okay, cool. Defeating
Morpho Knight
finally gives us the chance to return the pieces of Leongar's soul back to him, and now everything with the Beast Pack is resolved peacefully. Kirby and Co. can freely travel between this world and Planet Popstar thanks to the help of Elfilin, and the Beast Pack and residents of Waddle Dee Town can finally live in peace. A nice, feel-good ending to this fantastic game. Oh, also I thought I should mention that King Dedede survived. He's perfectly fine, he's all good, he's just out here chilling in Waddle Dee Town without a care in the world. You better believe he's my king.
You silly king!
So this is my game of the year. Elden Ring, eat your heart out. I got Corbin. I've been waiting a long time to play this game, and now that it's finally here, I couldn't be happier with the result. It's been a long journey of getting Kirby to go from 2D to 3D, and even after the struggles of making it happen from the developer's end, I don't think Hal could have pulled off the transition any better. Give it a few years, and I think I'm going to be looking back on this game with the same fondness that I do now with a lot of my current childhood games. It's just pure fun, simple as that. They weren't kidding when they said this would be the next phase of Kirby, because goddamn what a way to celebrate the series' anniversary. Happy 30th anniversary, you Pink Puffball. I can't wait to see what you have in store for us next. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got one last thing I need to take care of. I still haven't found that list hidden Waddle Dee, and I gotta go.
This will have to do.
You, Baltimore!